Welcome to the Swing and Bunt podcast. Today we have Wesley Wagner, Toby Altizer, and myself. One would consider it an all-star squad because Jake is not here. And basically, anytime Jake's not here, it is an all-star squad. So, congratulations, you get our appearance and not his. Today we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. We're going to focus mostly on college, NCAA. A bunch of stuff just came out. We're going to talk about the NBA. Probably going to be most of our stuff is going to be on the NBA and then a little bit on the MLB. So let's get right into it. Wes, the big news that came out today, you want to give it to the fans?
Yeah. So college sports in the fall in the Big Ten and Pac-12 are no more.
All sports,
all fall sports. And so that entails for football, big time, volleyball, and maybe half of basketball. So big deal.
I wonder what it's going to do with the winter. Are they just going to cancel the season, the first half?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was one school, I forget what it was. They're still going to try to play in the spring, or maybe they're going to have football in the spring. At least that's the thought. I don't know how. But
one thing I did hear, and this is kind of getting already into the stuff, but I did – when they first announced that Big Ten might cancel the season, did you see what Nebraska did?
Yeah.
He's like, nope, we'll play anybody who wants to play. Come on. I was like, I like
Notre Dame, come on down.
I like this team. So it's just horrible. Big Ten and Pac-12, they both announced today that they're not going to have football or any sport in the fall. But they are going to try to do it in the spring, they said, which is not going to be the same thing. Although we do get football twice a year now instead at the same time. So that's the only pro I can see. You got anything, Toby, on that?
I was listening to what Reese Davis had to say about it earlier, and he brought up a really good point. Everything recently with football has been about player safety, and you want to prevent concussions and lingering injuries. And how can you say that you're about safety and expect college football players to play a spring season and then have basically a summer off and then head right back into it in the fall and not have really that much time, the regular length of time to recover between seasons? That's going to be tough. I feel like if you do a spring season, it's got to be shortened. And then I feel inevitably for people that do a spring season, their fall season has to be shortened or pushed back or whatnot. So it sucks because it doesn't just affect this season, it affects the next season. And then if you start, going farther and farther, it could keep affecting the seasons going forward for next 3 to 4 years. So hopefully they'll figure out a good plan so that they're keeping the player safety at the forefront, but as well as keeping the coronavirus and what protocols they need to have with that in place as well.
There's two things that stood out to me also, a good and a bad. The good goes along with what I just said a minute ago that was good, but now that the college football probably won't have any games on Saturday, NFL had talked about moving some of their games to Saturday and even Friday night. And it's just going to be nice to not have to watch because I like to watch every game I can in the NFL. And I won't have to cram 4 TVs on at one time, 2 computers and stuff. So that's a positive. The negative is what was the negative I had? I don't remember my negative, so we're going to move on from that.
Well, I think it's interesting because most college football teams, at least, they have spring football, so they play inter squad against each other, and they'll do that. But it's not they're not dialed up 100% like real game, but it's legitimate trying to get starting spot for the fall season. So guys are still working hard, but it's a thing to think about for sure when you think about rest and going into the fall season again. I think of guys like Trevor Lawrence. They think of Justin Fields, who
they want to play so
really
bad.
need this season to cement themselves as the 2 best quarterbacks, as the number 1 and 2 picks in the draft. So.
Which helped me remember my negative. It was all the players that have to prove themselves. I mean, you think they did an interview with Joe Burrow, I think yesterday, and he was like, if this happened last year, I'd be on the couch looking for a job right now. And now he's the number 1 pick in the NFL. So all those people it's awful. It's going to mess with so many people's lives and stuff.
Well, and to be honest with you, I think the last couple number 1 picks would have been severely affected. Kyler Murray wasn't necessarily the number 1 pick. Baker Mayfield wasn't necessarily the number 1 pick coming out. Mm-hmm. So you look at guys that might have had a chance to overtake someone like Trevor Lawrence, who basically has been crowned the number one pick for basically since his freshman year, there's no chance really for anybody in the Big Ten. Justin Fields loses any chance of becoming the number one overall pick. It'll be interesting to see what the FCS does because Trey Lance might lose his opportunity to raise his draft stock as well. And those three quarterbacks right there, Lawrence, Lance, and Fields, are basically the top three. And if there's no season, Lawrence is a lock at number one.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be number one no matter what, but I agree with you with what you just said.
Yep.
Before we get into the other conferences, I put a heart here. Do you know why I put a heart here?
No.
Okay, so with all this testing has been done. Now, I think this is kind of timing-wise, it's a little sketchy, but apparently more than 6 or 7 players in the Big Ten alone have found out that they have overgrown heart muscles. And, like, it's just spreading. Like, everyone's finding this out all of a sudden. I just think it's kind of sketchy. I mean, I'm not going to say I don't know anyone's health. I don't know all that HIPAA business. But that all of a sudden all these people are having more health issues, and I just think it's a little questionable. None of y'all heard anything about that?
No.
I mean, I know that.
Other than
go ahead, though.
Eduardo Rodriguez, I think that's where you were going to go with it. Other than him, I hadn't heard of any other people having it. And obviously, he's a pitcher for the Red Sox. It's not a college player.
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna go with one of the more famous guys ever died because he wasn't diagnosed from it. Pete Maravich, played back in the NBA in the 60s and 70s. He's died from an enlarged heart. So I think of guys like that. So I think it's better to be on the safe side if they think that. If you're not sure if it is, I mean, get a second opinion for sure. But yeah, it does seem kind of it's kind of interesting that
With the
so
timing
many
and everything.
guys have been diagnosed with it like right now,
I don't know, man.
And I mean, it's not last year the Redskins, the Washington football team drafted someone with an enlarged heart, Montez Sweat, who was diagnosed right before the draft, and it hurt his draft stock. So it's not something that I wouldn't say it's common to see, but it's also not unheard of to see with athletes. But I mean, it might be correlated to the coronavirus. Who knows? But I mean, I don't know. I'm not one to speculate. I'm not a doctor.
I hate that word. All right. Now, how do you think, specifically the ACC, the Big 12, and the SEC, how do you think this is going to affect those conferences? Do you think they're going to follow suit, or do you think they're going to have a season?
My big question here is, I mean, I have no doubt in the SEC that they're going to be playing football. I mean, you think Nick Saban and Ed Orgeron are probably the two most powerful coaches in football.
He did say
right now.
he didn't care about their health. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, minus Dabble. But and Nick Saban even said like, they're going to be doing more stuff here, which I think was an interesting point. They're going to be safer here than they would at home.
Yeah,
I think is an interesting point. I mean, they are doing a lot of testing and probably doing a whole lot of tracking, especially at Bama. But yeah, I have no doubt about the SEC. Now the other schools, we'll see. So
I would not be surprised. ACC kind of followed suit. I wouldn't be surprised if they canceled.
I think the ACC is going to play.
You do think so? I have no idea. I'm just
absolutely. I think the ACC is going to play because ACC is run by schools that are primarily in the South, so they're going to fall alongside the SEC in that standing. If Clemson wants to play, if Florida State wants to play, they're going to play the season.
Sure. I think it's going to come down to those three, like Clemson, Florida State, Miami, maybe, just those states, those big schools that pull fans and stuff. I think it's going to be – that's a good point. I didn't think about that. All right, moving on. That's what we have for college sports, mostly football. We don't know what's going to happen. We're hoping there's going to be a season. If not, hopefully they will have one in the spring. And hopefully the SEC just makes their whole own conference. But that's a whole nother argument for a different day. Moving on to the NBA. The NBA has been insane in the bubble. But let's just go through and see what your key takeaways are. We'll start with Toby. What's some takeaways you have from the bubble so far?
Well, I think you see some of these top teams they're playing okay. They're not playing as hot as they were going into when the shutdown happened, like the Bucks, the Lakers, they're not looking as sharp. But I think the biggest takeaway from it is the Toronto Raptors look every bit possible repeat champions. I don't think they're going to, but they look incredibly good throughout since they've come back to the bubble, and they've looked incredibly good in all their games, and they've gone up against good competition. And I believe they've played the Lakers. I know they beat the Bucks, and I think they beat the Lakers too. They've looked really good, and so they were a team that I didn't give much of a chance going into the bubble just because I felt they lacked star power. But Nick Nurse has them playing incredibly well.
And actually, Siakam's been playing horrible, and they're still winning. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, their bench, they have a bunch of no-name. Matt Thomas. I think his name is Matt Thomas. Maybe Malcolm Thomas.
I don't even know his name.
The dude had like 25 points yesterday, and they, in the win off the bench. So he played phenomenal. So, I guess I'll kind of take. I don't know, Toby, if you had anything else you wanted to touch on, but
no, go ahead, Wes.
I had kind of three big things that kind of blew me away. Number one is the Phoenix Suns are 7-0 in the bubble,
and it's unbelievable.
One win away from being undefeated in bubble play, and it sounds so funny.
And they're still not going to make the playoffs, probably. It's the worst part about it.
Yeah, it depends on if the Trailblazers win tonight, and then if they do win tonight, it's kind of up in the air. So if the Blazers win tonight and then they win again, the Blazers control their own destiny. But honestly, the Grizzlies could fall out, and the Blazers could fall into that 8 spot. Suns could fall into the 9 spot, and then we have the little play-in thing where the 8 and 9 seed play each other to make it in. So I think that's really cool that the Suns Devin Booker's balling out, and their whole team is playing really well. So that's pretty cool. Number 2, maybe the biggest, well, not the biggest, but one of the most exciting things that we're talked about was the Denver Nuggets and Bol playing shooting guard out here at 7'2". But the guy who's overshadowed him is Michael Porter Jr., who's been balling out, averaging 25 and 12 in the bubble. And I think he was averaging like 7 points a game in the regular season. Now he's a starter, averaging 25 and 12, looking like a true superstar. So that dude's balling out. Big fan of him. And then my last thing is the Brooklyn Nets, without pretty much
anybody
anything, are 5-2 in the bubble. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. But they fired their coach mid-season, so they're going with the backup coach, backup players, and they're still winning.
When in Rome, just go for it.
Props to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna ask this question. My takeaway has been like pretty much the individual play, and then specifically, also teams are the Phoenix Suns and the Trailblazers have been hot too. Just these teams that are coming out of nowhere, and it seems like they have all the momentum, and I wonder if it's going to impact an upset in the first round. Like, what if the Lakers lost in the first round? How unbelievable would that be? It'd be awesome. Let me answer that. I would love like Phoenix or Damian Lillard to beat LeBron James. How much trash talking he's going to do? It's going to be awesome. But all that to say, the individual play of people in this bubble have been insane. And I was going to ask y'all, who has impressed you the most in this bubble? I know, Wes, you kind of mentioned a couple people, but who was number 1, do you think?
I think there's a pretty easy answer here. It's got to be TJ Warren, right? I mean,
that was going to be my guy.
I'm going to be honest. I've always really liked him, especially coming out of college. He was just a straight scorer at NC State, just got buckets wherever on the floor he could. But he never had really shown how much of a scorer he was in the NBA until the bubble. And all he's been doing is getting buckets, except for when he played Jimmy Butler.
It didn't help that he was in Phoenix either.
Yeah, and his thing coming out of college was, the guy can score inside the paint at will. He's got great touch in the lane, but he doesn't have an outside shot. And in the bubble, the dude has been stroking from downtown. He's been amazing.
Except the way he did during containment, whatever that stuff's called, quarantine.
So he went to work in quarantine. So props to that.
Well, and one other name that has kind of looked good in the bubble that I thought was a steal when he came out a couple years ago. No, Gary. Well, yeah, exactly. Gary Trent. I thought Gary Trent was a second round pick out of Duke a couple years ago, and he hasn't produced incredibly yet, but he did. He's been really good in the bubble. He's a great shooter, and I think he fits perfectly with Portland.
Now, I was about to say, once you explain to the people what position and what team he plays for, because I bet a lot of people don't know who that is. But
He's a shooting guard. He can play small forward. He's a three-point shooter primarily for the Portland Trailblazers. But coming out of Duke, he was pretty much a three-point shooter at Duke, and that's all he did pretty much. But I think he's a solid guy that went out in the second round that can be a Kyle Korver type, I guess you could say. Maybe a little more athletic, not as deadly a
dependent.
three-point shooter.
Oh, I was going to say dependent on the three.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would even go as far as say he's like Contavious Caldwell Pope, but he's got a jump shot, unlike Contavious Caldwell Pope.
Yeah. Yep.
Good old Wesley coming in with the clutch comparisons. All right. A few weeks back, right before the bubble started, we did our dark horse who we think could win the championship. And I said the 76ers. I think a lot of people said Boston. Is that right?
I think I said Boston. I think so.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So now that you've seen how it's going, who do you think could be a new dark horse to win the championship? I mean, we had mentioned, I know they're not really a dark horse, but we had mentioned Toronto. No one's really given them credit they deserve. So maybe Toronto. I'll go ahead and go first. I really do think that the 8th seed could upset the 1 seed this year. And I think if the Trailblazers make it, I think the Trailblazers could upset the Lakers and make a run. So that was mine.
I think that's definitely possible, but I'm not even sure the Blazers are going to.
Yeah, they got to make it first. There's a lot of stuff that's got to happen.
They got to knock out the Suns. Kind of just looking through it, out of the 3 through 10 in the West, there's one team that just scares me half to death, and it's because they have incredible star power, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. I was thinking at first,
absolutely.
Maybe they're not ready yet, but if we're picking a team to make it out of the West, who's not the Lakers or the Clippers, I got to think of Luka Doncic, and Porzingis has been playing out of his mind. He's averaging 20, 10, and 2 blocks a game. If they can get if Tim Hardaway can be consistent for a week, they could put someone in serious. They could give the Clippers a run.
I like Dallas. I always have hated Dallas so much. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know. I like Dirk Nowitzki. I don't know why I hated them, but I think I like Luka a lot. I like Porzingis. It's just nice to see them doing good again. Even though Mark Cuban's kind of, he's a little iffy. But
yeah, I like Luka. And to be honest with you, Wes, if you wouldn't have taken them, I was probably going to take Dallas.
But you can't.
But I'll go
you have to pick someone else.
Yeah, I'll go with the other team from Texas and Houston. I think if they can, I haven't been able to watch too many of their games, but I watched one of their first games. I think it was their first game back against Dallas, where they put up 151 in overtime.
That was an insane game.
Watching their offense that night looked different than what the usual Houston offense is, where it's just consistently waiting on James Harden to either shoot a 3 with 5 seconds left on the shot clock or drive it and kick it to PJ Tucker in the corner. It looked a little bit different. Looked a little faster. It looked a little more fluid, like they were getting into the paint. Harden wasn't just chucking threes the entire time. And I think if they're playing where it's not just Harden on the offensive end. They're using Harden's ability to get to the hoop. They're using other guys. They're getting in transition with Russell Westbrook. I think you can see them upset a team because they're so different than every other team in the NBA. They don't play anybody above 6'7". They play really scrappy on the boards. I feel like because they don't play anybody above 6'7", big men struggle because they play so physical in the paint with their short guys and they don't get the calls that the other teams regularly do with the big men facing big men. So I feel like Houston, with their style of play and with the star power they have in Russell Westbrook and James Harden, could absolutely make a run. And if something happens, like James says, and the Trailblazers knock out the Lakers, then the Rockets have every chance in the West.
Mm-hmm. And they probably match up with Portland pretty well, I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
They do.
Be a really fun matchup.
The only thing that scares me is they're very streaky, especially they don't really have a elite shooter, and from a team that shoots so many threes, to have guys as inconsistent as they are, it scares me. Westbrook's getting guarded by centers, which because he's not a shooter, but Daniel House, he's very streaky shooter. Eric Gordon hasn't shot over 30% from the field this year. So there's a lot of, and James is going to shoot. James is just going to shoot
That's what I
23.
do.
But but I think if they can get hot in a stretch, they could make some noise. So I would agree with you there. They scare me.
Well, and that's why I was pointing out that I think when their offense is running through James Harden, not just relying on threes, when he's getting to the bucket, he was so efficient against the Mavericks that game. It was like 14 to 20. And it showed me, to me, I don't enjoy watching the Rockets typically because of how they play. But watching that game, the Rockets offense looked different. I enjoyed watching them because they were playing basketball the way it's meant to be played, getting to the bucket. If the guy's open in the corner for three, then that's a fine, that's a good play. But they weren't just sitting on the three-point line, chucking the entire game. They were actually getting towards the hoop.
Well, if you remember, though, they did shoot 61 threes that game.
They do shoot a ton of threes still. I'm not saying, but I think James it wasn't so much of James Harden late in the shot clock. If they didn't have anything, it was chucking a ticking time bomb to someone else to chuck a three.
Yeah, he didn't shoot 2 for 18 from 3, which is a good thing. I think it's better attacking more.
Maybe more of what I'm saying is if James Harden is efficient, because I think he was like 14 of 20 that game.
Oh, yeah.
If James Harden is efficient, then good luck, because he's one of the best, if not the best scorer in the game.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. If you could choose one matchup of the teams that are in the playoffs right now, what matchup would you choose? No matter what the situation is, just choose 2 of the teams you would love to see. Who would it be?
Ooh, I'm going to go I would really – I want to say Jimmy Butler and anyone else in the East because Jimmy Butler's just he's crazy, man. But I'm going to go with – I want to go with 2 of the more physical teams in the league, the Rockets and Clippers. Every time they fight or they play, it's like a fight because they're so dang physical. So I'm going to go Rockets Clippers.
Toby?
I'm going to go pretty much what I think will be the Western Conference Finals. Lakers, Clippers. You got the 2 powerhouses in the West. And that's just be an awesome matchup because you got 2 guys on the Clippers that can guard LeBron. And Kawhi and Paul George, and the Clippers are so deep it'll test the Lakers. I think that'd be a really fun matchup.
It's so funny. The West is so intriguing, and the East is so boring. We keep talking about the West.
Yeah.
Mine is actually, I've talked about them a lot, but I would really love to see Portland against the Clippers again. I think it would be so much fun just to see them go at it. The pettiness.
You don't want to see Bucks Magic?
Can't say I do. Kate says top 50.
Jimmy and Dame was really giving it to Paul George and Pat Bev.
Yeah, he was.
Yes, I love it.
Absolutely.
That's why I would say I would love to see that matchup again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna skip the playoff predictions unless y'all want to. We pretty much kind of hit on it. Y'all good with that?
Yep.
All right. Moving on to MLB, Major League Baseball. Let's start with 2 people who are absolutely stupid on a horrible team, and I don't know why this team's even baseball anymore. They're racist and all that jazz. I probably shouldn't say that, but the Cleveland Indians have 2 players. First off, I think Mike Clevinger should be out for a longer time because let me give you the backstory. Mike Clevinger and Zach Plesac went out in Chicago. They were at a game, and later that night they went out in the town. And the rule is that you're not allowed to go out. And it's not for they're not trying to make you not have fun. It's just for safety reasons. The coronavirus can spread so easily, and they want to protect families and players. And they disregarded that rule, and they went out. And Zach Plesac actually got caught. I'm not sure how he got caught. Do you know how he got caught?
I don't know.
That's probably a Jake question. But he got caught. Now, somehow Mike Clevinger got asked, and apparently he lied and said he didn't go out. And then it came out yesterday or today that he actually was out with Zach Plesac, and now he was sent home. Now,
and flew on the team plane with the team after he had lied too. So
if someone gets it, it's fully on him. It's on both of them, but he's definitely the one that should be blamed. Because he's so stupid that you would risk your team's season. There's no telling like when the Cardinals come back, of course you got the Marlins who came back and are killing it. But think about when the Cardinals come back. I bet they're going to be slow when they come back just because they've been out for so long. And it's because someone was stupid and went to a club or something.
Well, and I read this the other day, hadn't even thought of it, and it makes what they did even more stupid. You think about who's on their pitching staff and Carlos Carrasco, who just got back from
cancer,
recovering from leukemia, and you're going to put him at risk because of that. Someone that's even higher risk than maybe the average person. Come on, guys, that's just stupid.
So stupid.
And can I just bring up that Mike Clevenger has been one of the loudest mouths in the major leagues about the Astros who broke the rules. And this guy's breaking the rules too.
This is a little bit different. This might be worse, like for physical harm, but overall, yours is significantly worse, Wes.
Well, for someone he's like, oh, they broke the rules.
I'm so glad Jake's not here for this.
Get out of here.
And the worst part about it is they have to go home for like 72 hours and get tested twice before they can come back or something like that. It's like they don't even really miss a start. They might miss a start and just get pushed back a couple of days. So it's not really a punishment. I know it's more of a health thing, but I think they should be punished. Definitely Clevenger.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts, Toby?
I mean, they need to be punished. The tough part is it's got to be what? Is it going to be an MLB punishment? Is it a team punishment? The tough part is if it's an MLB punishment, they can come down hard on them. I don't think you can go 8 games like they did for Joe Kelly because, I mean, they didn't do anything on the baseball field. If it's a team punishment, are they really going to give them the consequences they deserve? Because let's be honest, they need Plesac and they need Clevenger. And the chances of them making the playoffs are pretty high when you have Bieber, Clevenger, and Plesac on the bump. So they're not going to – even if it's a team penalty, it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you missed 3 days, but basically you'll be back for your next start. They need to be punished. I don't think they will be punished as much as they should be.
I agree. You got anything, Wes, to add to that?
No, I mean, I think it would be very hard to punish them, at least from an MLB perspective, just because I don't know, because they're not punishing. They didn't punish any other teams for getting corona when they got out. So
I think it would have to be an Indians thing.
Yeah, so I don't see them doing that. They went out there, they got sent home.
At least they did follow that. I mean, at least they sent them home.
Yeah, I mean that's a sort of punishment, but not really.
It might be a little vacation. All right. The Cardinals. Are they ever going to play a baseball game again? They've been out.
Who knows?
Since July 29th.
Yeah, I think it was the 29th. Yeah, about 2 weeks.
So it's been about 2 weeks. They have not played a single – and they're going to make up all these games apparently. They're going to have so many doubleheaders, which we're not going to get into the 7-inning doubleheader, but I'm kind of a fan, kind of not a fan, but that's a whole nother story.
Just for this year. That's it.
So Cardinals.
It's like Division III baseball, doubleheaders and 7-inning games all over again.
Well, that's because we have 7 people on our team. It's kind of hard. All right. So Wesley, Cardinals. You think this is going to affect them? Honestly,
I think it'll affect the hitters more than the pitchers. I feel like the pitchers are probably still getting the work in, but it's
doing simulated games and stuff.
It's harder for hitters to get live action and even if it's against their own pitchers, it's hard to get that live hitting in. So Aaron Judge just
hit another home run. Sorry.
What's that, 9?
Yes.
Jeez.
I'm a little bitter because it's against Atlanta.
Just give him the MVP already.
It's 7-0. Continue.
Yeah.
We go for like 0 for 30 the next 30 at bats. That'd be nice. But yeah, I think it'll affect the hitting much more than the pitching.
Yeah.
Now I wonder if it's going to cause people to sit out too. Like Yadier Molina, he had it. And I think he had like symptoms and everything. He's kind of older. I mean, he's not old, and he's probably in way better shape than most people. But he's still up there in age. He's probably in his early 40s, late 30s.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
he's 38, I believe.
Yeah, late 30s. Yeah.
But they have such a good team. I would think most players would want to stay in it. Now we did see Marcus Stroman on the Mets just
He
opt
drives
out,
me nuts, man.
but
Good
and
for him.
so
Yeah.
we
I
saw him
like it.
opt out, but I can't see anyone on the Cardinals opting out.
I hope not.
No.
I mean, I hate that they
No.
beat us last year, but
Let's be honest. That was all Fulte's fault for Game 5 start.
yeah, still a little bitter about it.
I think the issue with the Cardinals, and you brought it up, that what are they supposed to play 55 games in 45 days or something like that, which is not going to happen. I don't care what the MLB says, because at that point you cannot have a single rain delay, a rain out. I mean, there's no chance. So my question would be, what is the requirements to get into the postseason? Because what if the Cardinals are only able to get in 50 games before the postseason is supposed to start? Do they just get disqualified because they didn't play the full 60? I feel like the MLB should put in a clause that way teams aren't being falsely, stupidly kept in the clubhouse when they're supposed to socially distance when there's like a rain out or something like that, like Trevor Bauer's thing, what they was complaining about. I feel like they should put in a system that you have to at least play 45 games and then it's winning percentage. If you play all 60, awesome. But I feel like they should have given themselves leeway. 60 games in 66 days, there's going to be rainouts. And then the other thing with this, I thought with the protocols that if someone came down with the virus, they wouldn't have to immediately cancel the entire series. And what has happened to basically everything with St. Louis, anytime someone comes down with it, the entire series, the entire month of games is canceled. Heck, the entire
More than one
season
person had it, though, is the problem.
I know, but I'm still saying, like, one guy comes down with it, and then more guys come down with it, and now it's not even the Cardinals, is it? It's the Pirates or someone.
I think it's just the Cardinals right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was just
way.
Cardinals. But what's the point of having the 60-player pool if you're not going to use it? If
That's true.
Thank you.
3 or
That's
4
very true.
guys get in quarantine, I don't know.
Here, let's let you have these people. You can't use them though; they're just here for looks.
It just makes no sense how you're gonna fit it in and you expected the games to happen and 60 games, 66 days, and immediately in the first week you're already suspending it. It's just not going to happen 60 games. So I feel like if they're smart, they put in if you need to at least play 45 games to get into the postseason. If you don't play 45, so be it. You don't get in the postseason.
I seriously doubt they're going to do that, but I'm on your side on this, just because it's all about money, and the Cardinals will be there if they have a record that's good enough.
I know we talk about him a lot because Jake loves him, and he's probably the most outspoken person in baseball, but Trevor Bauer brought up a good point. If you're supposed to be socially distancing from people, what the heck is the good of having players sit in the clubhouse for hours on end during a rain delay, or them showing up to the park and not being able to play a game and they have to be in the same area with each other for how long? That kind of eliminates the whole point of the social distancing part if they're just going to be sitting in the clubhouse with each other for hours and hours.
Yeah, it's an odd thing, but I think it's the idea is to minimize when possible. But yeah, I'm with you. Anyways.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I have a better plan, but I'm just showing flaws with their plan.
I mean, and they've made ideas. I wasn't going to talk about this, but talking about doing the bubble in the playoffs, which I think is a great idea. Why not just do it? They should have did it from the beginning. Honestly, I know you got like 40-something. You got so many more people than basketball, but basketball has not had one single positive test of players or coaches, and it's been insane. And that's what a bubble can do. And I hope they do the bubble for the playoffs when the Braves are in it and they win it.
I think what they could have done is done it by region, since they're already kind of doing that anyway.
Yeah.
They could have had a West region and East region and like a North region or Central region. I don't know. So something like that, where since everyone in the AL West and the NL West are playing each other anyway, just keep them all in one location.
Yeah, which I think would have been great. Probably been smart. Like, we could have played all our games in Tampa or something, just because it's kind of not really a bad spot and it ain't that popular. Ain't nobody going there. Anywho, moving on.
Yeah.
can these surprise teams keep it up? Okay, I would not put the Padres in a surprise team because I picked them to make the playoffs. But the other 14, three of the other, and the A's, Jake's an idiot. No one's.
Well, I put that in there, actually.
Wes is an idiot. I do apologize, Jake. Please forgive me. All right. I guess they are a surprise in the sense that they're number one right now. But I was thinking more of like we thought Marlins, Orioles, and Tigers were going to be dead last. Like, not even in the same ballpark. But if you look at the record, they're pretty good. And they're doing well. They're handling their own. Ask the Nationals about the Orioles, right? Right, Toby?
Yeah, what the heck? Yes.
So do you see any of these three specific teams, forget the A's, forget the Padres, do you think any of these three teams can keep it up? And you know my thoughts on the Orioles. I think they can keep it up.
Yeah, me too.
And I think they will make the playoffs.
I have no reason to believe it, but I think the O's will keep it up. I have no reason to believe it.
Like your reasoning.
I just have a feeling for whatever reason, I feel like the O's can do it. I don't know about the others. Maybe the Marlins. Personally, I think the Marlins have a better roster than people give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
We played them in the preseason game, whatever, the two preseason games, exhibition games. And all they could talk about was like, this team is so underrated. They have good players. I mean, they're just not known players. Like,
yep,
they're doing their thing though.
I was watching them today, and like they were going through the lineup, and I was like, I know that guy. I mean, he's not like a star, but he's not a bad player. Like
Anderson's a baller.
Then you got Jonathan Villar, very solid player. Jesus Aguilar, Corey Dickerson, always hit for average. Brian Anderson, Logan Forsythe. They just got a bunch of scrappy little guys. There's no superstar for sure.
Yep.
Just scrappy, and I don't know if they can keep it up, but I think they might be just on the outside. I think the Orioles are about to hit a huge collapse very soon, but that's just
you mean the A's? All right. I think the Tigers actually have a solid chance in their division. They have a very easy division. And they are playing out of their mind. Miguel Cabrera? What the heck? The guy's 99 years old, hitting home runs. That team, they're pretty good. Now, do I think they're going to keep it up? Probably not. Do they have the best chance out of these three teams? Probably, because they have an easier schedule, I would say. But I'm sticking with my boys. I'm going to stick with the Orioles. I think the Orioles are the only ones that will keep it up. So you say yes or no, Wes?
I said no to Orioles, no to Tigers. Marlins will not make the playoffs, but will make it interesting.
All right, Toby?
I say the O's keep it up for no rational reasoning whatsoever. And I say the Marlins don't make the playoffs like Wes said, and Tigers, no.
Okay. Moving on. They came out with the suspensions today. I don't know if you saw of course y'all saw. Laureano was hit by a pitch.
Yep.
And he was saying something to the pitcher, and then the hitting coach from who, Wesley?
Houston Astros.
The Astros said something bad about his mom, which you met like, wow, he talked about his mom, but his mom has like issues or something, or she might be. Well, I mean, I'm gonna believe him because no one's denied it. No one in the Houston team denied it.
Yes, he did. He
did.
He said, "I never said anything about his mother."
What about the people around him?
But let's be honest. Let's think about this here. If I go, "Yo, mama, James, your mama," like,
yeah. See, but
big deal.
I also have a mom that's still alive and is in complete health and is kicking.
Yeah, but if I knew your mother, like if me and your mom were like close friends, then that would be something that's like, hey, like, my mom, how dare you? Like, that's offensive. If I just say yo mama and I've never met your mom, like, big deal. Like,
he said, did you see what he said about his mom? I mean, allegedly. It's something I can't say on the TV.
Well, you're not on TV, so.
Hello, what is this right here, Toby? But anywho,
this is Zoom.
All that to say, Laureano charged the bench, which is stupid as all get out. It's like 80 against 1, and he didn't get punched, but he definitely got slung down, and someone signed him with the Houston Texans after.
Mr. Garneau, backup catcher. So,
let me say, Amir Garrett looked way more intimidating charging a dugout than
yeah, he's
Laureano
a pretty big dude. But Lariano got a 6-game suspension, which I thought it should have been 8, even with Joe Kelly, just because, I mean, this was obvious. You saw this happening. There was no doubt in your mind that he charged the bench. I know Kelly threw it on purpose, but it's not 100% clear that he threw it on purpose. But the biggest suspension came from the hitting – is it hitting coach?
The hitting/bench coach, yeah, Alex Cintron.
He got a 20-game suspension. That is a third of the season. Now, I mean, it's not going to affect as much as a player missing, but that is a huge, huge suspension. What are your thoughts on it, Wesley?
Regardless of what he said about his mother or not, coaches need to be held to a higher standard.
Absolutely.
And I'm actually fine with it. If y'all did notice, he's not going to appeal it. You know, he said, I deserve what I got.
Because he said it.
No, he said, I deserve what
good.
I got. I need to be held to a better standard. And I was not, I didn't do the right thing. So I'm going to take my punishment. So he acknowledges that he wasn't becoming of a coach, which is good. But he's a hitting coach, and we have one of the best lineups in baseball. Not right now, but historically.
Maybe he should be fired anyways.
We're not going to.
Now watch y'all going to hit like 8 runs a game from now on out.
Yeah, we're not going to be hurting over losing a bench coach. So, you know, I'm okay with it, actually, because he did instigate it and he's a coach. So I'm okay with the punishment.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I think in a regular season it might be a bit different, but in a season where you're supposed to socially distance from the other team especially, and you're instigating a fight where everybody came out and they were not socially distancing, 20 games is deserved.
All right. So we all agree. I still think Loriano should have got 8 games at a minimum, but that's just me. I'm fine with the hitting coach getting that. Moving on to high heat. Do y'all have anything for high heat? We didn't discuss this. All right, so I'll make up one on the spot. High heat. Jake will not talk about the Indians for the next 2 episodes. That is my high heat.
All right, well,
is it true or false?
That's not going to –
That
false.
is 100% false.
I just kid, because the Indians stink anyway, so it's okay. Worst offense in baseball, probably.
Definitely.
They might actually literally be the worst offense right now.
Will they finish above 4th in the division? That's the real question.
Like in the AL Central?
Yeah.
I sure hope so.
Oh, my gosh.
It's going to be Detroit, Minnesota.
Don't forget Chicago.
Oh, yeah. They're actually leading like almost every offensive stat there is. It's insane. At least when I looked at it a few weeks ago.
It's not helping their defense, apparently, because I was watching – I don't know if y'all saw it, but Tigers-White Sox game.
The home run, the inside the park?
Yeah, the guy hits a liner into center field.
It was so ugly.
The White Sox center fielder, he dives and completely misses it. Guy just gets it inside the Parker. I was like, there's
I
a
mean,
moment.
it's not as bad as Joe Adell just handing the home run to someone for the Rangers, but
That was pretty funny, too.
All right, moving on to trivia. Like I said, this trivia is not like our normal trivia. It's not going to have any bonus points or anything. What it's going to be is you're just going to try to score a certain amount of points. I haven't decided that many points yet. I did say 20, but it's only going to be 4 questions worth like 50 points. So if you can't get 20, you should just probably quit at life. All right, I have an NBA question, an MLB question, an NFL question, and an Olympics question. Okay? First for basketball. This is probably the easiest one. Who are the top 6 3-point percentage shooters of all time? If you get them their name, you get a point, and if you get them in the correct spot, you get another point.
Jeez.
3-point percentage?
Yes.
Give me a second.
Dwight Howard.
If you said it, you go right ahead.
So
I don't think Tim Duncan counts because he only shot like 2 ever. I'll tell you this. 3 of them currently play.
Oh, great. I already got 3, and I've only done 4. Jeez. Okay.
2 of them I don't think you're going to get. I've never even heard of one of these guys. Y'all can work together.
Hold on a second.
Y'all want to –
Oh, we can work together?
Yeah, you're on the same team.
Oh, we are?
Yeah, you got to beat
Okay.
you got to beat me basically, as in like get more than 20 points as a team.
Well, let me.
Okay.
Who do you have?
I have Kyle Korver.
Yeah.
I have Mark Price.
Okay.
I have J.J. Redick. I have Steph. And this
Seth,
one, Steph,
go
yeah.
ahead.
And then
Okay.
I have Dale Ellis. I don't know if you know him. He was a shooter back in the 80s. Who do
All
you got?
right.
And
Well,
Reggie Miller.
I'm pretty sure Steph Curry has a worse 3-point percentage than Seth Curry, so I don't think Steph is there.
Really?
Ray Allen, I have Kyle Korver, and I have no idea if it's consistent, but I know George Hill shot 50% from three this year.
Yeah, he's not on there. I don't think.
I don't think so either, but
I'm
I
fairly
have no
certain
idea.
Kyle Korver's number one, though.
I feel Kyle Korver, Ray Allen are locks.
Yeah.
I think Seth Curry is on there because he's better than Steph, and Steph might be on there as well. I have no idea, but
Okay, so you want to go? You want to lock in our number one? Maybe Korver at number one.
sounds good with me.
All right, Korver number one. James.
Incorrect. He's not even in the top 6. He's
What?
10th. He's 10th all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I like your Mark Price call. I like that one.
He's the leading free throw shooter of all time. Fun fact.
Yeah.
I didn't ask that. Good thing I didn't.
All right. Well, I think Ray Allen's another one we could lock in.
Yeah, Ray Allen.
Ray
Number
Allen
two.
is not even in the top 20.
Oh my god.
What the heck?
All right.
All right. You want to do Seth Curry because I'm pretty sure he's above Steph.
Okay, let's go with Seth.
As your number 3, Seth. Seth Curry is the number 2 highest 3-point percentage of all time.
Wow.
So you got 1 point.
Wait a second. Should we go Dell? Is Dell in the top 6, you think?
Del Curry?
Del Curry was not a
Yeah.
3-point shooter. Not a good one.
Well,
I'm helping you out here.
He's pretty good.
Okay, so it's not Dell. That's all that matters.
You
He
want
said
to
there's
go?
3 active players.
Let's see. He said Seth. Korver's not in there. Maybe JJ.
Yeah, you can try it.
Let's go JJ Redick.
He's 17th.
God. Okay.
You have,
Well,
what was that? That's 4 guesses, so you have 2 more.
Yeah.
should we just go ahead and throw Steph out there? Because if Seth is second, Steph could be definitely 6th or
Yeah.
above.
Steph.
Steph what?
Steph Curry.
For what position? 5th or 6th?
5th.
Steph Curry is the 6th best
God.
3-point percentage of all time. You said that. I was going to give
Dang
you
it.
credit, but then but you got 2 points, so nice.
Okay, we still got one more guess.
Yeah, and this is still a current player in the league. All right, I can tell you he's in the bubble right now.
Davis Bertans. Well,
That puts it in the 7
No.
teams. Or
Does that
whatever.
count?
He's not.
as him being in the bubble if the Wizards are, even though he's not?
It's not him.
Okay.
All right. You got 15 seconds. 15. 14. I'm not going to count down because I hate when Jake does it. But you do have 10 seconds.
You want to try? We haven't tried Mark Price. If you want to try that,
Current player
Well, we still have a few other
in
like
the
people
bubble.
besides. I'm guessing it's not him. In the bubble.
5 seconds.
George
Danny
Hill's shooting
Green-
50%
Danny Green,
this year. But
Danny Green?
You're both
yeah,
wrong.
try Danny Green.
It's Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat.
How does he have the volume? He's only played one full season.
The guy's killing it. I don't make this list up.
Whatever.
All right, I'll let y'all choose the next sport. Baseball, Olympics is going to be last. Baseball or football?
How many points did we get?
You got 2.
Oh my god.
The Olympics one's the one where you're going to get the most points.
Okay.
Who were the other? Do you tell us the other ones or what?
Number 1 was Steve Kerr. Number 2,
Man.
Seth Curry. Number 3, Hubbard Davis.
Hubert.
Hubert.
Hubie.
Hubert
Hubie
Davis.
Davis.
I didn't know him.
He's
number
assistant coach for Tar Heels.
4 is Drazen Petrovic.
Awesome.
Okay.
Number
the
5 is
Kings, I
Duncan
think.
Robinson, and 6 was Steph Curry.
Hmm.
All right, baseball or football?
Baseball.
not- Football is college, not pro.
Oh,
All right.
Baseball for sure.
I could ask you who has the longest home run ever, but we've already discussed that. Now, here's a question for you. Who has the shortest home run ever? And who hit it, and how far did it go? And if you get within 20, I'll give you credit.
This is not.
Does it have to?
This does not
Is it
include
one
inside the park home runs.
Not inside the park home runs.
Okay, that's what I didn't ask.
Because I
Oh
read
my
one where a
gosh.
guy hit it 2 feet and he got stuck in the mud and he got inside the park home run.
Okay, well, it's the pesky pole, right, in Fenway. And it's got to be, what, like 268 or something like that? Because it's something like that down the line.
It's pretty dang short. I know that much. Um,
And I feel like it's got to be a Red Sox player that's probably a righty that just kind of slapped one and ended up getting it out. So if I had to guess, my first guess would be someone like Dustin Pedroia, and they
I'll
hit it
give you
like
both a guess.
268.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I think that's a good. That's a good idea. Going Red Sox. I'm gonna go Nomar Garcia Parra.
All right, you
And
guess the distance. If you get within 20, I'll give you a point.
275.
Okay, well, it was 295, so you got that.
Yes.
And the answer is DD Gregorius. He hit one 295 in that same exact game. Aaron Judge hit a 411-foot out.
295. I feel like there's got to have been shorter ones than that.
I think that's recorded the shortest,
Interesting.
As in last year, or
as in ever. Moving on. You can
I
look it up.
question that, but okay.
And I'm the person doing the trivia, and if it's wrong, I say it's right, so it doesn't matter. All right, college football. The longest pass play ever was 98 yards. Before that, the longest pass yard was 96 yards, and it was it lasted for 3 years. It's the longest pass play ever. What was so significant about this play, and what team did it? So it's a 96-yard touchdown pass. There's something significant about the play, and then you got to tell me what team did it, and I'll give you 5 points if you get either one of those correct.
96.
What team? Oh. So we each get guesses, right?
Sure, go for it.
I'm gonna go. It started off with a lateral pass to a receiver, and the receiver chunked it. And I'm gonna go with Florida, just because I don't know. Florida seems like a good guess.
Toby?
It's not the play that Stanford's band ran onto the field, I don't think.
Was that a pass play? That was a kick return, wasn't it?
I don't think so. I'm going to go with Notre Dame, and I'm going to go with the receiver fumbled it into another receiver's hand.
Wes, you were insanely close. It was the longest flea flicker in college football history, and it was Colorado.
Oh.
So you was like, how's he going to get this? There's no way he's going to get this. And he started saying, I was scared. But you got it wrong. So
yeah, I was to a running back, I'm guessing.
So y'all are at 2 points. You have to get 18 out of a possible 20. So
I feel like you gave us an impossible mission here.
Well, I see. I knew the basketball stuff because I've did this trivia before, so I would have definitely got most of them right. But that's not your business, my business, whatever. All right, and the Olympics. You know, the goal of the Olympics is to win medals. What countries are in the top 10 all time of medals? And you got to guess what place they're in. If you guess what place how about this? I'll give you a little bonus. If you guess the correct place they're in, I'll give you 2 points per correct, and then 1 point for just saying the country. So you get a possible 3 per spot.
All the Olympics?
Yes, of all time. All summer and winter both.
Well, the United States is up there, obviously. Yeah. Are they number one? Russia's probably up there.
I was gonna say Russia's probably up there, pretty high. Probably China is probably up there. Because of gymnastics.
Yeah.
All right, we have 4 minutes to finish this, and we'll be right at an hour. So.
Okay.
Do you think the U.S. or Russia is number one, or China?
I know. I'm just gonna say U.S. is number one, even though I know it's not. But I'm I'm just gonna go with the U.S. number one.
Yeah, I would say U.S. number one.
Number one with 2,520 total medals is United States.
All right.
So we're at 5 points now. You only have to get 15 more.
Okay. Want to go China 2 or Russia 2? Thinking.
I feel like Russia, because I feel like Russia dominates the Winter Olympics.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good with that. Russia 2.
Number 2 is Soviet Union / Russia with 1,122. Here's the significant thing. In 17 less Olympic Games, they're only 1,000 behind the United States.
Only. Yeah.
Which is not a lot because in 10, they did 1,000. And they're 17 behind, so that puts it in perspective. So all that to say, you're at 8 points. Good luck getting the rest.
So what do you got? China, and then you got what other countries are even close?
Greece is pretty kind of goes back to Olympic, like
Yeah.
the start of Olympic times.
Brazil.
What?
Is Brazil any good? I'm trying to think. What countries are always at the top of the medal count?
You got 2 minutes.
Maybe Argentina. I don't know. What are some?
You want to just go with China for 3?
Yeah, let's go China 3.
China is the 7th best most, but they are on the list, so you get 1 point.
Okay.
So you're at 9 points.
So we're still looking for 3rd. Japan?
Yeah, I was thinking Japan too.
Lock it in.
Yeah.
Japan is not in the top 10.
Darn it.
Whoa.
So you have 6 more guesses.
Oh, how about France?
I think.
Feel like-
Yeah. England too.
Yeah. You want to go? Let's go England. Lock in England at 3.
Now, this is going to seem like a dumb question. I just want to make sure I'm right here. England and Great Britain are the same.
Yes.
Just double
Yes.
checking. They're on the list, but they're 4th.
Ah.
So you're at
Okay.
9 points.
I feel like Germany beats out Great Britain, right?
Yeah. Germany 3. That's got to be it.
Number 3 is Germany. So you're at 13 points.
Let's go.
And you have 4 more guesses left to get 7 more points.
Okay.
So we need 5th. You think France is 5th?
France or Italy? Italy might be up there.
Ooh, yeah. I feel like France is ahead of Italy, though.
Yeah. Let's go France.
And 5th place is France.
Oh.
So now
France.
you're at you're 4 away from 20, so 16
Come back.
With 3 guesses?
with 3 guesses.
You want to go 6 as Italy?
Yeah. Let's go Italy.
Number 6 is Italy.
Oh my gosh! Look at us.
So
go.
you had all right. So 8, 9, and 10 are left. You only
With
have
2
to guess
guesses.
one of them with 2 guesses.
Oh.
Oh, this
Okay.
is insane! I can't believe I got this close. I'm so glad I did 3 points.
Argentina, Brazil.
What else is in the? What about the Netherlands? I feel like they're usually up there.
Yeah, and they'd
Oh.
definitely be in there for the
Or
or Norway or Sweden.
Sweden's usually pretty good. I know they're usually good.
Yeah, Sweden kills in the Winter Olympics. Yeah,
Sweden at what is it? 7, 8?
You have 8, so the top one left.
Yeah, Sweden at 8.
All right, why don't you try to guess 8, 9, 10? Just,
Okay.
I'll give you an extra guess. Because Sweden is on this list, so you got it right.
Oh, look at us go!
Now, all right, Sweden's
All
number
right.
9. Now, number 8 and 10
Sweet.
I thought were the 2 hard ones, actually.
Ooh.
Canada. No,
Oh,
think so.
Canada.
Yeah, I don't.
Australia.
It could be Australia.
It's not Canada, I will tell you that, because Canada, they don't know. Bless them.
I feel like Australia could be there, and then
What about India? I don't. Probably not India.
I think the
they even do
Netherlands,
the
like you
Olympics?
said.
Yeah. I'm good with Netherlands and Australia.
At number 8 is Australia.
Let's go.
I'm actually shocked y'all got that. They're really good at swimming. They're unbelievable at it, and I hate them.
Well, they have to swim away from sharks, so makes sense.
They don't have to,
They
but I like your style.
Well, they swam to Australia. So.
Number 10 is Hungary.
Hungary.
I would have never gotten that.
It was hard. I saw that, and I was shocked. They
got
have
the
491. If that puts it into perspective. In 26 Olympics, they have 491. In Russia's 10 Olympics, they have 1,122.
Dang.
So there you have it. You beat the Diller. Even though I gave you like 14 bonus points, that's okay. I'm impressed y'all did that good with that list. That was quite impressive. When y'all started saying France and Italy, I was like, oh, please say it backwards, but y'all didn't.
Wes and I are just going to transition to an Olympics-only podcast.
Nice.
We know so much about Olympic gold glorious right here.
All right, so that's all we have. Do y'all have any interesting stories or stats?
Not this guy.
I don't have a stat or story. I have an interesting idea that came across today. I think it was on Instagram that teams were considering for the NFL. Teams were considering quarantining a quarterback, so that way if the quarterback room were to get the coronavirus, they would still hopefully have a quarterback for Sunday or Saturday or whatever day they play. So I'm thinking maybe the third string quarterback kind of stays away from the first two just in case. I think that's a good idea.
But they wouldn't quarantine? They wouldn't stop the.
My question is,
I have no idea.
The question becomes, do you quarantine a veteran quarterback and keep a young guy, or do you quarantine the young guy and keep a veteran as your backup?
I think it's easy. If you're a contender, I would do the veteran. I would leave him. Unless it depends on your quarterback. Like if you have Joe Burrow, I would want an old guy with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have no idea of the exact logistics of it, but I thought it was an interesting idea, and I think
it makes sense.
Some teams employ that. Yeah, I think it does.
I just don't know how that would, like, if someone has coronavirus, then I'm pretty sure more than one person is going to be out.
Yeah, I think it's just maybe that they're going to keep the quarterbacks distance from each other, one quarterback extra distance, and maybe put some reps in but stays more so away from the team. I have no idea exactly how it'll work, but
I think it's a good idea.
I thought it was a good idea.
Didn't hurt to try.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
if your all three quarterbacks go out, I mean, let's stick my Lynn Bowden in there at quarterback. You know,
Rashad Peterman. I mean, not Peterson. Peter. What's the guy that stunk last year? Who had like Nathan Peterman.
Dwayne Haskins.
We could go to the quarantine and just get off the team, actually. And Wayne Haskins, too. He's horrible. No, I actually like Haskins.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good this year.
You should have did the high heat for him.
Well, I don't have any high heat. I don't think he's going to be
good. Oh, okay.
I think he's going to be good, but I don't think he's going to be
MVP
worthy. So what's high heat?
Anywho, that's all we have for today. Thanks for watching, and let us know what you think. We didn't really do any – I guess we didn't do anything that requires a response. But thanks for watching, and that's all we have, and see you later.
As always, please be sure to like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as well as subscribe to our channel on YouTube where we post the full-length episodes as well as shorter videos for you to check out there. And a special thank you with this episode to Tim Foster for the intro and outro music. If you or your friends have any music you would like to hear played on Swinging Bunt, then please email that to swingingbuntbsbl@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next week.